We could be live right now, but I am going to let you know once I get the confirmation here. I'm going to look on my, but we're going to keep it casual though, best we can. You know what I'm saying? So we are live now. I'm going to take this off because it's an echo. You still there?
I'm here.
Great. I don't think I cut myself off. Hold up.
I can still see you.
Yeah. No doubt. I can see you too. I'll make sure I don't do the mistake I did last time and
Oh gosh.
cut myself off live. There we go. I did cut myself off. And I'm a to all my Norwegian people or to all my the real Nordic Black family that's tuned in right now. Um we have the Afro Humanist in the building out of by way of Nigeria in the UK. Up and rising star, as I said, that I've noticed, for me at least. I don't see too many Black faces kind of in the mainstream atheism. Well, you want to call it mainstream, but the social mainstream of social media atheism community space. I don't see too many faces. You might have seen one of my interviews, Mandisa Thomas. I'm talking to the crowd now. Uh, and if you haven't checked it out, go back in my earlier videos. And I believe she's the Afro-humanist is probably the second one that I've really noticed these days. I mean, there's a couple other, but she's really been putting in some work these days. Um, I've checked. I saw her on a I think when I was in either Myth Vision or some sort of forum where I seen some dialogue with you in there. I think that's how I came to see your video, or unless I just plugged in something in YouTube and then something just popped up with African Christianity. It might have been one of the two. I don't know for sure. But she's been in the space for, well, at least she put up her first videos from what I seen about a year ago. But been on YouTube about 2020, but been starting to be active since 2021. I want to go to her bio on the phone. Uh, so it's best to read what she says about herself. She's an African ex-Christian who deconverted and looking at why religion is toxic, poisonous, and dangerous, debunking the claims made by the Bible, pastors and religious leaders, challenging the evil that religion has perpetuated, and giving people the information about religion to stop believing in myths, make believe in fairy tales. I like that. A platform for people who are questioning their beliefs, supporting people who have walked away from religion and asking why, what, when, where, and how. And then she has that quote by Isaac Asimov, if I said the name right, and Bertrand Russell, and things like that. And she also has a Twitter and Instagram account, which we will drop in the underneath this video when we're done. I appreciate you hitting me back, and thank you for coming on to my channel. Um, like I said, you kind of remind me of me just a little bit. I saw what I like about your channel is that you go live a lot, so it's not so scripted like me. um, and so you get that authenticity, authentic, you know, you're very authentic. And that's how I feel, and that's where you come off. And also, of course, that you are Black diasporan, African diasporan, and you talk about many issues that I'm also concerned about.
Mhm.
Um, and before we get into that, can you give us more of your cultural background and things like that?
Okay, so I'm African. I'm half Nigerian. I grew up in my formative years where it was in Nigeria. Uh, it was I was born into the Christian religion. Mom and dad went to church. It was the way of life. There's no other way.
Right.
You woke up on a Sunday morning and you were in church, no questions asked.
Similar to me and my mom, when she yeah,
You had to go to church,
yeah,
and
absolutely.
we would move from church to church because this church is not so spiritual, so we need to go to one what's spiritual. And we go to these places. They teach about the Bible. They teach children about very, very toxic things, in my opinion.
Right. I agree.
And I just grew up this way. Didn't know what it was to be an atheist. Didn't have a clue what it was to be agnostic. I just
Mm,
had no, that was not in my horizon at all, that it is possible to question these things.
mm,
So anyway, just grew up just carrying on with the religion. And part of the religion wants you at some point, they want you to take the religion seriously, right? You must be working for God, doing something for God. And at some point in my life, I decided, maybe I would, when I moved to the United Kingdom,
mm.
I started to go to the Church of England. I
How
really
and I don't mean to cut you off. How long have you been in England or reside in?
20 years.
20 years. Wow, okay. And the point that she made earlier, you see a lot of uh people in the African diaspora when it comes to religion and also Middle East descent when it comes to that not even having that thought about atheism and agnosticism and stuff like that. As you mentioned, you don't see so much of that. It's kind of ingrained in you, you know, culturally.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the scripture backs that up by
Mm,
telling you that you shouldn't question, or just there's several scriptures in the Bible that just does not promote people questioning or having doubt. The Bible says that he that is I forget the scripture now, the
mm,
one that says he that is of a double mind is unstable in all his ways.
mm,
So if you have a double mind, if you're doubting, that means you are unstable in all of your ways.
right.
There's a scripture that says God does not like you to be lukewarm. He doesn't want you to be warm. He wants you to be hot, hot all the way for him. So,
Mm,
if
all out.
you, yeah, you have to be all
Right.
out. There's another scripture that says, touch not my anointed, do my prophets no harm. So if you're trying to challenge these men of God, uh and there's a scripture that says you can't even challenge them. You
Mm.
can't. Where do you begin? Where do you begin?
And I learned that the hard way,
Yes,
growing up in church, asking my mother questions that she couldn't answer, told me to go to the pastor. And when I went to the pastor at some point, he was like, just believe, you know, and
that's
things like that, basically.
that's
Yeah.
what they tell you. They tell
Mm,
you that you should. They think it is automatic,
right,
that
right,
you have to believe. And if you don't believe, there's something wrong with you.
right,
And
right.
this is what I'm trying to challenge. If people
Absolutely.
don't believe, there's really nothing wrong with them. In fact, they've got it right for
Mm,
questioning, for doubting. You have to doubt everything you're told.
that
You
skepticism
can't
is
you
healthy.
you can't
Yeah,
just you can't believe everything you're told because it's in a book.
absolutely. Absolutely. Now you were saying you were talking about your background culturally and religiously. So culturally, it's Nigeria, um, and in the area of Nigeria where you were raised, are they majority Christian, and or is it because I know Nigeria is so big and so huge,
Yes.
and the population is huge, the largest population in Africa, and so you have a huge Islamic as well,
Mhm.
going on and things like that. No, also what I liked, well, with I'm all over the place, my ADD.
It's okay. It's okay.
But so culturally, it was majority. The area you were from was majority Christian, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now, but culturally, how about the African traditions? You know, I'm African American looking at. I'm not from the continent, but is what we see, uh, in what we read and what we learn. As far as the African traditions, they, and I know you talk about that in some of your videos, earlier videos at least, about how, and you also mentioned it, how we kind of, they did away with, well, I know you mentioned before in a video that how they did away with when Christianity came in, how they did away with a lot of African traditions or whatnot. But what are some of the African traditions around your family that you guys practiced in the, or your,
That question you ask breaks my heart. Because this is one of the negatives of Christianity. When Christianity took over, they basically said your traditional way of doing things is not so great.
hmm,
Our Jesus is better. You've got to take on Jesus and God, the Abrahamic God. The things you worship is not is dark,
right,
it's occultic, it will lead you to hell.
right,
So you find that if you practice the African traditional belief system, you're victimized
right.
because they've we've been made to understand that it is of the devil. It's devil worship. It
Even
is.
even in Africa.
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely.
absolutely. Right. And that's, yeah, yeah.
Don't get me wrong. There's still people who practice it,
Right,
but
right,
it's done. It's not so evident. It's not so. It's done in hidden. It's
right,
done away with,
right,
for the most part.
right,
And Nigeria is predominantly Christian
right,
and Muslim.
right,
If you're not Christian, you're a Muslim.
right,
And you'll find people who identify as either Christian or Muslim, but still practice the African traditional belief systems.
right,
But the general consensus, if you identify as a Christian, that's it. You
mm,
can't then identify with anything else. If
right,
you're a
right,
Muslim, you that's it. There's no addition to that belief system, you know. So Christianity near enough has completely put the African traditional system on the back seat.
mm,
It's in the back seat.
right, right. And that's what I noticed in through my, I guess, studying or listening in on this subject. That's what I gathered as well.
It's it's
Uh,
um it's a shame.
right.
Um,
What tribe are you? Are you?
so I'm what you would call the Calabar tribe
Okay, okay.
down south.
Okay, I never heard it. I always hear of the
Yoruba,
Yoruba
Hausa,
house.
Igbo.
Yeah, Igbo. Yeah. Hmm.
I'm in between the yeah, so the Igbos, but down further down.
Okay. Okay.
So it's a shame. I'm an atheist, right? I
And I was
don't,
gonna I was gonna get to that question too.
yeah,
Well, you're agnostic because I know you talk a lot about humanism and humanists, and you can be a humanist as well, being an atheist
yes,
and or even secular humanists, atheists,
absolutely.
all these other titles that can apply to you. Um, Go ahead.
I don't believe in the supernatural. I don't have a a need to believe in anything out there.
Right.
But it's sad to see Africans do away with their traditions
Right. I
and
I agree.
take on the beliefs of others. and there's no records, there are no
Right.
nobody's there are no archives. So once Christianity came, they just did away with everything. There really is nothing to show the children. Oh, we once believed this, we once
Right.
did this, we once, it's like wiping away people's
Mm,
culture altogether, and it's a shame.
absolutely. And I agree with you. And we're one and the same. I don't believe in supernatural as well. But if I was to, and as I remember recall a conversation I had with Mandisa Thomas or whatever, why believe in some of these Christian stories with other cultures? I rather, if I was to believe in some supernatural or myth, I'd rather believe in something that I can connect to culturally, like they do in some of these African traditions and systems.
Exactly. Someone said the other day that Black people's God look nothing like them, right?
Mm.
Ooh, one of the reasons why I had to give up Christianity was this whole Jesus character,
We all, right? Right.
the Jesus character.
Mm.
Now
Well,
they came to Africa and showed
mm,
us pictures of Jesus. And these pictures of Jesus, he was whiter than white. He was, blonde, blue eyes,
right.
and, really
Very pale.
rich, pale
Mm,
skin. And they
yeah.
told us, this
Mm,
is your Jesus. The average African Christian
mm,
sees a white Jesus.
right.
We've got the white Jesus all over the walls in people's houses, they're in churches, they're in, you know, these people look at that image and say, that's Jesus. But turns out Jesus, if he existed, looked nothing like that.
Mm,
He looked nothing like that. So
absolutely.
whose idea was it to make him look like that? So the people who brought the religion told you that that's what Jesus looked like, and
Mm,
you should get rid of your dark and evil statues and all these things. Get rid of those and take on
mm,
our Jesus. You know, when I started questioning, I went to the Reverend Father at the church, and I said, "Look, I'm struggling. Uh, uh, why were we told that Jesus was white? Why were we shown these images of Jesus?" And he said, he admits that the church lied to the world.
mm,
He admits that it's a church, it's a lie that was done deliberately by the church, which the church needs to apologize for.
right.
This is a Caucasian, this is white man speaking to me, saying,
Mm,
I accept that this was wrong. And he went further to say that he thinks that Jesus was a black Rastafarian.
he, okay. Okay.
And that for me was, I couldn't comprehend, couldn't fathom.
Mm,
What do
mm,
you mean black Rasta? That he says he thinks that Jesus was indeed, he had nappy hair and
mm,
was of really dark skin.
right. Right. Right.
So, but then he said, "Oh, don't worry too much about what Jesus looked like. Just focus on what Jesus came to do. Let that
Mm-hmm,
be your primary thought,
mm-hmm,
right?
mm-hmm.
Don't worry too much about his skin color. Think about what he came to do." And I says, it's not enough to tell me don't worry about his skin color.
Mm,
Generations of people have been lied to.
absolutely. Absolutely. Speaking of Jesus, now I don't know if you are now you said that you're an atheist, not an agnostic. You're an atheist. Um, now do you they have that conversation about the historicity of Jesus? the historical Jesus, because there's some atheists that believe in historical Jesus, as you know, and some that are on the mythicist,
Mythical.
that he doesn't exist. And then there's some people, I guess, in between or whatever. Where do you fit in that? And I can assume, and I believe I know already, but for the audience and stuff like that, some of these questions I asked you, I believe
Okay.
I know
Let
through
me let me
researching you
let me
and
let
knowing.
me
Yeah.
let me put it to you like this. Before I answer that question,
Yes. Yes.
I'll have to give you my reasons why.
I'm gonna drink some African
Go on, go on,
Roboa tea for that.
go on.
Mm,
Okay, so if Jesus existed,
mm,
if he did walk this earth,
mm,
I think what a sad, pathetic life he had.
mm,
He wasn't all that he was made out to be. It was a really sad 33 years
mm,
of just, I see no reason for it. It was just a pointless existence, in
mm,
my opinion,
mm.
because to think that,
But you know that's what that's what some historical people are saying. I mean, that believe in historical Jesus are kind of saying as well. Some saying that, just because they believe in historical Jesus doesn't mean that they believe he was divine. Because they're atheists too.
mhm,
So there are some atheists or some agnostic, Bart Ehrman,
yeah,
they follow kind of Bart Ehrman field, and then you got the Richard Carriers and Lataster
mhm,
and things like that, and all other people in between. But there are some historical people that believe that he was historical, but all those
not
made
divine.
up, those miracles and all those other made up things are just made up. So go ahead though. So you
Okay,
still could be on that side
so I
though.
think, okay, what a sad, pathetic existence that a son would come and be a sacrifice to his father.
Mm,
And I asked the question, what kind of father-son relationship is this? That a son would decide, Dad, you know what? Let me go and be the sacrifice. But
right,
guess what, Dad? I am you and you are me.
right.
But
Illogical, right?
somehow I've got to go and I've got to go and die
Mm,
this pathetic death to
right.
make my dad happy. I've got to go through all this. Why my dad sits there and watches me go through all of
Yeah,
this.
yeah, that is
Now,
sad.
the worst part of it all is his dad has all it takes to forgive humanity
Tell me about it.
without needing the death of his son, because he is this powerful God. He is the creator. He is the all-knowing. He's everything. His father has the ability to snap his finger and everyone in the world is forgiven,
Mm,
right?
mm,
But you think about that dynamic, and when I think of that and think of how sad and pathetic
mm,
that 33 years he lived, I would rather go with the option that he's a mythical being,
mm.
because him being if indeed he was real, if
Right,
indeed he was, oh no, it's not such a glorified
right,
existence.
right. And I'm on par with you. At the same time, both of us that are black atheists, with us speaking out about this, we get a lot of critique, a
Yes,
lot of critique.
absolutely.
And whether it's within our own family, because I
Mm,
can tell you
mm,
right
mm,
now
mm,
on my
mm.
Facebook, as I posted this video, yeah, that's one thing. And when I'm looking down, I'm looking to see if there's any live chat action or whatever like that. And if I'm posting this video, I know I got some family members probably gonna peep into this video, if not now, later.
Later. Mhm.
And you know, and also I spoke to you earlier before you got on camera. My mother was a staunch, she's a Christian and things like that. And so some people, in many different reasons of the family, they think you're going against certain traditions or whatever within the family, and you get all that all that feedback, and it's tough being especially a person of color,
I am
deconversion, as you like to use a lot,
I,
of,
I
and,
am the
and so
same.
I was gonna go into that part of this about.
I am the same. My mom died 2 years ago,
mm, mm,
and she was very, very religious. She was a
condolences.
Christian.
Yeah.
Thank you. She was a Christian till the day she died. She had a Christian funeral, all of
Uh,
that. And
mm,
I am the only atheist in my
my,
family.
and my mom
I'm the only one.
my mom literally died in church. Heart
Oh,
attack.
wow.
Yeah, heart attack. Yeah. Um, but
I'm so
it,
sorry.
it's something I'm getting better and better at. But I was gonna it was gonna get to the question about critique, about some of the flack that you've been given outside of family, just in a wider community, since you've been speaking out online against the have you get a big kind of pushback or support? I know at the same time you got some support, obviously, because I was able to uh, notice some of your videos because of the support from the larger atheist online
Community.
community.
Yes.
And I'm gonna get a little critical question about that later, though, because I just have a little theory, and it may be,
Which is fine.
yeah, but um, could you talk a little bit about the criticism and or and things like that you've gotten, whether it's in the UK or whatever? And I don't really know so much about the atheism community in online
The
community
UK.
in the UK so much as the wider one, as we know, like through Myth Vision and you got people St. Andrews. They got their platforms. The
Arandra and rest
Matt
of them.
Dillahunty,
Oh, yeah.
and all those things like that. Correct. But not necessarily with support. But could you talk a little bit about And I hope you didn't get any like death threats, nothing major or nothing like that. But like I said, could you talk a little bit about that as you?
Okay. So what I did, I was quite strategic in
Mm,
becoming open about being an atheist. I made sure, because being an atheist did not come easy.
mm-mm.
It was a process over 2, 3 years.
Tell me about it.
It was a process of questioning and just, watching lots and lots of videos, engaging in conversations. It was a long road
Absolutely.
until I finally realized I'm an atheist,
Mm,
and there was just no question about it.
mm,
And so, what I decided to do is, before I come out as an atheist, I've got to make sure that I'm in a position where people's opinions about me don't matter in any way, shape, or form. So, however you feel about my atheism does not take
awesome.
food off my table.
Awesome.
No, but you're not feeding me. I'm
Yeah.
independent. And,
Mm,
how you feel, whether family, whether
mm,
friend, whether
mm.
whatever you are, your opinions do not matter. So I made sure to
That's
get to
deep.
that point first before I came out as an atheist. And
Mm,
when I did finally come out as an atheist, say, look, I do not believe. And that's when, started the YouTube channel. And I had family, they would say, are you serious? You do not believe in God? How is that possible?
mm,
They just don't get it. They just don't understand it. I'm an agnostic atheist, so
mm,
I would
mm,
not say positively there is no God, right?
mm,
But I'm
mm,
saying that the gods I've been presented with so far so good,
mm.
I just do not reckon with. And
Right.
so it's just family not sure how to handle conversations with me. I mean, one of them, she said, I don't know how to talk to you anymore. I'm thinking,
I can feel you relate to this. That's
I
why I'm
says,
like,
I says,
uh,
nothing has
so
changed.
you hear a lot of and ahs
Nothing,
over here.
nothing has changed. I'm still
Yeah,
the same person. I
exactly
just
right.
wouldn't, I just wouldn't pray with you. Well, I could if you want me to pray, I'll engage. But we just wouldn't have those conversations. But
Right.
it, to them, it's like, how do we relate with you without a God
You
in the
understand?
mix?
Yeah.
It's just very, and this is the
You, you,
thing,
you know what's so I don't mean to
normalizing
cut you off, but
atheism.
you know what's so crazy related to just exactly what you said. We're so crazy even on even the like on Facebook when I be posting like sometimes
Oh,
anti-religion things or atheism things, and then sometimes even just normal jokes or whatever. There'll be somebody that knows my position. They'll be like, "Amen," like I mean, you mean Amen Raw, Amen Raw or something. But I mean, like I have a supporter, which I'm not. If I know you're gonna listen to this video, I'm not. Only me and you know who we're talking about. Sometimes I'll be posting stuff, and they'll be like, "Amen, Amen," and she's not the only one. There's other people, and so I'm like, it's like, do you know I'm not, and so it's like they try to things that they can relate to, I guess, especially family members, as you're saying, they don't know how to relate to you
mm,
and talk to you, and I believe, and that's why some of them kind of
they
don't
step
communicate with
back.
you, step back, and I feel like I have some of those, and we're not the only ones, is the
No,
diaspora.
no. And that's the thing. We need to normalize atheism. We need
Boom,
to we
bingo,
need
bingo.
to um we need to get to a place where
Mm,
having doubts of the religion is a normal thing.
a healthy thing.
Questioning, yes, questioning is not only normal, but it is healthy. I did not know what it was to be an atheist. It's a learning. Every day is a learning curve. I did not know any atheist to learn from.
We were indoctrinated.
The only atheists
uh,
I've known have been online.
mm,
But I've met a few. Oh yeah, you were talking about atheism in the UK.
mm,
The UK is very, very secular,
yeah, yeah,
really very secular. There
yeah.
really is no need to have an atheist movement,
Mm.
really, because
Similar to Norway, I think kind of Europe in a way.
yeah,
It's not like in the US, in
mm,
in
mm,
in in maybe
mm.
Africa, as you put it. So as you know, in the U.S., we very
Oh yes, oh gosh.
so,
Mm-mm.
but yeah, it's wow,
So
yeah,
you can be whatever you want to be
yeah.
here in the UK. You can be atheist. In fact, a lot of them are atheists. Hardly go to church. They you just live life without a God, Jesus. Most of them just go to church for birthdays, weddings, and funerals, and that's it. They
Absolutely.
don't, they don't, they all they think about is going to work, go on holiday, just enjoy
I-
family, and just live for the
right.
here and now, and
I think
that's it.
it's very similar to Norway. They just go because of like they have a state church,
Tradition.
Lutheran church
A
here in in,
Lutheran,
in in in
right?
Norway, but you have the monarchy and all those things in the UK, and so I think they just go to hold on to certain traditions in a way, and things like you said, confirmations, weddings, and certain other things, reasons why they'll go. But for the most part, it doesn't seem like a huge need to have like you said, if you start talking about atheism out here and anti-religion over here, they're like, okay, look at you, like, okay, I don't care if you do or you don't. In the States is a big thing. It's like, huh? You get a bigger reaction. Hence, we're on
But
YouTube and we're trying to get a bigger. Oh, I mean, we're talking to the larger, bigger world rather than people that are here.
but they do have humanists group,
Yeah, absolutely,
and
absolutely. Yeah,
there's also Atheism UK, which I'm part of.
yeah.
Because coming out of religion, it's a really hard process,
Hmm.
especially if you were neck deep in religion. If you because some people will turn around and say, "Oh, you were not a Christian. If you could leave the
You,
faith, you were not a
right,
Christian."
right, right,
If you
right.
knew how much of a Christian I was, You wouldn't say that,
Right.
And
Right.
so coming
Right.
away, you need that, you need some form of community. You need some form of just having people that think alike, think because you when you haven't got anyone who's an atheist anywhere around you, you it can be very depressing.
Absolutely.
Can be
Absolutely.
very, it would take you to a place that you're not prepared for.
Absolutely.
And so you need,
Because as a human, we are social people. So,
yes,
it's very tough to go that alone. Um, and so how long have you been following though the online atheist community and things like that?
the
A lot.
online atheist community started my
Yeah.
conversion process. So I
Okay.
would
Yeah.
say about 3 years.
Okay. 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 How long have you been because I heard you mention at one point in time you were a moderator, or you still a moderator in Myth Vision or whatever. So did you kind of start out with, weren't you a mod or a
I
moderator?
am still a mod.
Okay, with Myth Vision or
Yes,
and some probably several other atheists.
not really, not a lot
Okay,
of them. Just
okay. No, I like his channel very much too, as well, because he puts up a lot of good interviews with a lot of these scholars and stuff that
yes.
some I haven't heard of,
Mm-hmm,
and
mm-hmm.
things like that. Um, Now I seen you, yeah, some of your earlier videos, and you guys got to check out some of her earlier videos, where she goes in on religion and pastors in the
Oh,
church, or the Jesus industries, as you call it, church money
Jesus.
business, with a lot of the craziness and silliness and illogicalness that's going on, like the pastor spitting on, and all kinds of crazy mess going on, especially in the continent of Africa. Now,
No,
you're
that the pastor speaking on that's American.
no, no, that's American. I
That's
know that. Yeah, that's what I said. And especially, yeah, yeah, exactly. But you talk. Your focus though is your focus on, because a lot of your images of Africans in the continent when it comes to church and things like that. I think you know where I'm going. I can see. Yeah,
I know where you're
I
going.
know. Hey, it can't be totally comfortable now. But you talk a great deal, even even brother polite, even brother polite in the conscious community now. We could, there's Umar Johnson, there's so many others that are doing craziness out here in the world, but your
Omar
focus,
Johnson.
yeah, he's another one. But your focus though, it was as you say, well, at least early on until you started to build a little bit more of a follow from what I see, was your focus mainly on the continent of Africa in dealing with religion and stuff like that.
My focus has and will always be Africa.
Mm, mm,
I grew up in Africa, and the African Christianity, I was, I
right.
grew up
This is what you knew.
in that
Right.
culture.
Right.
And coming away from that and realizing how damaging and how negative and how toxic that can be, I feel like I've got to push back on the African the Christian version
Mm,
of no the African version of Christianity. Um, I started off as the African humanist because my goal was to talk mainly about Africa and Christianity in Africa. But then most of my audience happened to be from the other side of
yeah,
the
yeah.
continent.
And
No,
that
the other side.
and that's where we're gonna go a little bit later for
For
sure.
some reason,
Mm,
because you can go on YouTube
I
and
got my
check.
got I got a theory behind that.
You can go on YouTube and go and check where most of your audience is from. The people I'm trying to reach, they're not seeing my videos. They're not subscribing. They're not, or maybe they are seeing it, but they're just not ready for it. They're not
Yeah, they're not
ready
ready.
to
I agree.
to challenge themselves and
I
to
agree.
accept that they've been lied to, and they're not ready to get down. And so most of my audience happen to be from America.
Mm,
I'm thinking, okay, I've got to sort of change things around,
right.
sort of try and
Got to circle the wagons. Like I had to do a
have a
little.
balance
Mm,
somewhat. And
mm.
so that's when I started going, that's when I started going into spaces like Myth Vision
Yeah.
and the rest of them, just so to have a feel of
The wider community on what's going with the
exactly,
talk. Just like, yeah, I agree with you.
exactly.
I had to do some of the circling of the wagons too, in a way, a little bit as well.
But
Absolutely.
my focus is and will always be Africa.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And my main focus at the end of the day will always be of the diaspora as a whole, in Africa and the diaspora as a whole as well. Um, now yeah, she has several videos like Was Jesus White, Slavery in the Bible. Um, so 10 reasons Africans are leaving Christianity. Uh, there was I saw you had a video that said, I didn't click on it, 8 churches in one building. Uh, was that what you talking about in Nigeria, or were you talking about in
Oh,
UK?
listen, I did a live stream yesterday, and the live stream was about the pastor, the one who has the largest number of churches in Africa. In Nigeria alone, he's got 14 million branches.
That's insane.
Absolutely insane.
Wow.
There are churches everywhere you look, and it's so bad that Rob, you and me
Mm,
can decide to go to Nigeria tomorrow, and we can start a church.
that's
All we
that's
need to say is we have been called by God.
mm,
God appeared to us in the dream, and he says, start a church. And that's all you need.
right,
Nobody regulates these
right.
churches. Nobody, there's no one authority, one body. Well, they say they have
Mm,
one,
mm.
but they they're not doing anything.
You, you know,
So
yeah.
that what you saw is a picture of one building. I think
Mm,
it's about 4 stories.
hmm.
There are 8 churches in one building, and those 8 churches are all individual churches belonging to individuals, because
Mm,
anybody can set up a church, right?
right, right.
So you can have, like myself, I can have the Church of Esther. I can start my Church of Esther tomorrow,
Mm.
and have
Absolutely.
as
That's
many
for real.
branches everywhere. So
Yeah.
8 churches, all, it's crazy. It's madness. It's madness.
You know, and people always think, why are black people, why are people African origin so damn spiritual? We're like the quickest to pick up religion and things like that. And that's a study within itself that I can't wait till somebody really, really goes in on it.
Mhm.
But I believe humanity, several different reasons. I know one, humanity's been there for so long in Africa, comes from Africa. So you had all this time span of humanity to come up with all these things to explain nature and science and all these things. So of course, naturally from Africa, they're gonna be, so connected to these spiritual
I
practices more
think
than any other culture and race, of course, because that's where humanity started, and we had so many, you know,
I think
years.
people just
Yeah.
have a need to, they're not satisfied knowing that there's nothing out there.
Mm,
There must be something, there must be a creator, there must be,
right.
all of this started somehow,
Right.
and someone is behind it. And
Right.
let's put a name to him, let's call him Allah, Jesus, and God.
Right.
And
Right.
there's just that
Right.
desire to want to identify with the
Right.
supernatural. Some
Right.
people are not satisfied to just be
Right.
just, this existence just
Mm.
isn't enough.
And then when you talk about, like, we can just start a church, and some people don't some people do realize or don't realize that they're just doing a continuation of what some of the colonizers were doing, or whatnot. Now to go to the some of the critique part, I don't know if you have gotten this part from the Black community, online community, or whatever, or atheist community, of because, like you said, you put a lot of images of Africa, and you talk a lot about the African Christianity and things like that. But then you may have some critiques that would say, well, what about the fundamentalist Christians, the white ones and stuff like that? Like in America, you have the Osteen or whatever of the world, that are probably has a far bigger reach and money and things like that, and they do a lot more. They do a lot of damage. And so, what do you say, or how do you feel about or if you got any critiques about, um, you not kind of going against, at least it appears to, as hard against some of those right wing fundamentalist Christians on your YouTube page, rather than, instead of just seem like targeting Black folk?
I'm coming to it. I'm coming. I'm coming. I you see, this is it is it's a journey, and I'll get there
Absolutely.
talking about those ones. And I have my reasons why.
Mm,
The Africans, they learn from the Joel Osteens, they learn from the TD Jakes,
yeah.
the
Benny Hinn's, all that.
Mike Murdoch, and the Benny Hinn's. Now, what's really bad, this is the reality is, these pastors in the US have their Nigerian counterparts that they work with.
Absolutely. Yeah.
What's his name? Benny Hinn has
Mm,
his right hand man in Africa. It's Chris Oyakilome.
mm. That is true, because they wouldn't be step foot over there. They didn't have, a
Yes,
connection. Yeah, yeah.
these Americans come all the way to Africa to do retreats and what's it called? What they call those big massive rallies.
I call them crusades, but
That's it.
yeah,
They
yeah,
come over and do the retreats,
yeah.
crusades, and all these things, right?
Hmm.
So the African pastors, they look up to the American pastors, and they want to imitate. They have mentors. African pastors have American pastors as mentors,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah. I agree. Yeah, I
And
agree.
so these people work hand in hand.
Mm.
At
Do
some point,
the
at some
devils,
point, at
they end
some
up.
point, I've got to have some form of focus with my my videos.
Right, right.
But I'll get there. I will. It's part of the other day I talked about Benny Hinn being, was it Benny Hinn? Yeah, it
Yeah.
was Benny Hinn.
Mm,
Benny Hinn was scammed by Nigerian pastors.
mm.
Benny Hinn was supposed to come to Nigeria to do a crusade. Him and Nigerian pastors are working hand in hand. He says, I want 6 million people. 6 million he wants at this crusade. And the pastor says, we will get 6 million. You just need to send us some money for this and that. And Benny Hinn sends the money over. Benny Hinn finally, Benny Hinn, I'm sure it's Benny Hinn. He finally gets to
Mm.
Nigeria, and altogether, the number of people
He
that
ain't know
turn
he ain't
up,
know he ain't know about them Nigerian and Jamaican scammers. No, go
all the
ahead.
people that turn up was about 300,000, nowhere near the numbers he was.
Wow.
Well,
Yeah,
he
yeah.
was very angry. He was
Well,
very, very upset. He was very angry because
well,
money's gone. Nobody's coming. But
well. Benny Hinn did more damage to African population than I believe than that incident as well. In the long run.
exactly,
You know.
exactly. So
Yeah.
he's still doing damage. Ben Hinn is these Africans, and now we have home. The younger pastors. They're going to Africa. They've
You you know you just
uh,
you just kind of had me realize more, again of a point just now in this little conversation that a lot of those pastors, when they don't have any more, they're like on a feeding frenzy. When they don't have any more
audience.
audience there in those European countries, as they more and more intellect and get away from religion, they always their go-to is to go to Africa
Now you must understand,
or India or Africa.
religion is not regulated in Africa and
Right,
India.
right,
Religion has free reign
right,
in these places.
right.
So the things that they can get away with in the US and the UK, they can't. The things that they would not get
Get
away
away
with
with, yeah.
in those places, they get away with it
Africa, India,
in
free reign.
Africa
Right,
because they got free reign.
right,
So
right.
I don't blame these people. They
Hmm.
find a gold mine.
Hmm.
Let's go and dig. I mean, think about what's her name now. When Trump was trying to run for president the second time, and his spiritual advisor, what's her name?
I
Paula
think,
White. Paula
yeah.
White.
Oh my, yeah.
I mean, listen to her saying, "Oh, we call on angels from Africa
Mm.
right now to
Mm-hmm.
come." And I'm thinking, you want angels from Africa to come
Mm.
and help you with
That,
your elections. What happened to the angels in Africa doing the work they're supposed to do in Africa?
right, right, right,
Now they
right.
ship themselves. They're not
Wow.
done doing what
Wow.
they need to do in Africa. Now
Right,
they've got to come all the way to come and help you win elections.
right,
Terrible. The mindset.
right, right. Now another critique. um and about it's kind of in line with the what we were talking about. Well, now we talked about how the supporters you get at the same time we get a lot of critique with our own communities, and then it seemed like you get a lot of support with the international community of atheists online. Um, I know some would suggest and say, and they have many different reasons to say, okay, she started about a year ago, and now she's suddenly kind of getting more traction, more support, and you know, suddenly she's kind of getting invited to some of these mainstreamish spaces or whatever. Could it be because of her outspokenness, being a black person, so let's prop this one up,
I fit
Kind of
I
like
fit
Mandisa Thomas, as I talked to her,
I fit the narrative, don't I? Black woman,
black woman outspoken,
atheist,
yeah, and outspoken,
outspoken about
and speaking about it
atheism.
because but that's what I do like about you, because there's not too many continental, and I consider you continental, you know what I mean? Continental Africans that are very outspoken. Even here in this country, as I told you, I'm probably one of the most outspoken when it comes to racism. Now, I don't have a huge following because of it. If I was an entertainer, I would. Now, don't get me wrong, there's some Africans from the continent that are more popular than me here, but it's because they're doing African festivals when it comes to
Mm-hmm,
entertainment and
mm-hmm,
activity,
mm-hmm.
or if it's some part of entertainment, they're more popular to
Mm,
me. But you're not gonna get no other black people here in Norway that that can have what they want to call divisive, or kind of just more raw, in your face, blunt speaking about certain things. Calling a spade is, I don't want to say I'm popular. I don't think I am at all. But I don't. Let's just say I don't see anybody that has more followers than me that are talking as loudly and as potently against certain establishments. And I haven't even scratched the surface
no.
myself. As me, that's all I'm saying. But there are more popular ones, and I always realize in the Facebook community too that these Facebook groups that they only, like in Norway, I can probably say in in UK too, you only get like a, when it comes to the unification, or uniting of black people. whether no matter what religion, no matter what sexual orientation or whatever you have, it seems like you don't hardly have that big of a large group presence. But they do allow, it's almost like they allow you to, if you just about your tribe, like Nigerians in Norway, it's big.
Is it?
Gambians associated in Norway is big.
Is
N-
it?
yeah, but it's you have to put yourself to a certain thing. You know what I mean?
Yes, yes.
Nigerians.
Connect to the
So
right
they let you. So it's
people.
almost like the gatekeepers in my
You
theory, in my saying,
you have to connect to the right people.
yeah. But in my theory is if I would have said something that encompasses all black people, you know,
Hmm.
that they for some reason it wouldn't allow that to happen. It wouldn't, whether it's, oh, you're
Right.
going against standards or rules, something. It's my theory
Hmm.
that I'm sticking with because I haven't noticed anything else. If it is something that's all encompassing African, it's ran by Norwegians or white people
Mm-hmm.
behind the
Mm-hmm.
helm. Trust me.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes
Mm-hmm.
to admin, you will always see at least, you might get one or two sprinkled in there, George Floyd and all that. So there's new world now sprinkled in there, but you will not get. And then even the a lot of the anti-racist group. I know I'm going off the topic a little bit. I'm gonna go back
No,
to
no,
what
no.
I was going at
I'm enjoying this.
because this is gonna connect to what I'm saying with you. But even out here, when it comes to anti-racist center that deals with most of the racist issues out here, it seems a lot to go, and that's what I target. They hit a lot about religion rather than race out here.
Mm.
They try to get stuck on, and I think you know what I mean.
A very uncomfortable subject.
Yeah, that's another one. So that's another one. They tend to think more about xenophobia in religion more so than race. In my opinion, yes, they go intertwined together, but I guess I come from a little bit more different perspective. I believe that racism is is higher than the religion, and this and religion's under, but like yeah. So my theory is when it comes to unifying unity, no matter what banner you have, no matter what, it at some point for some reason it's it's not, yeah,
It's
it's not
not clear
happening.
cut. It's not
Yeah,
clear cut, is
yeah,
it?
yeah, and it's not happening. I believe it's not being allowed to
Mm,
happen in certain ways. To be honest
mm,
with you,
mm.
anytime you see a huge, large following of black people, it's because they chose a particular culture. Okay, we're Chicagoans. Oh, we're
Right,
Nigerians. Oh, we're here.
right.
The white folks don't care, so they let you do that. Yeah, yeah, 'cause they're not gonna get anywhere. They're unifying it with everybody in every sense. You know what I mean? Now you start if it's something unifying, we want part of that. We want part of that, or we're starting it or we're starting it, the cult, an African cultural thing where there's white admins or whatever, and then you start talking about this unified thing, and they try to get you. Yeah, I don't know. This is my theory, but the question I had with you was, now, do you feel as, or some critiques may feel as that you are being propped up as I was about to say, is this okay? She's be the mouth for us, yes, I want to, attack them. You know what I mean? In a way, in a sense, like low key. And sometimes, yeah, I believe you got to watch that low key thing. That's why I am also a part of, or and some of them know about me or on my Facebook as well. Definitely. Was Myth Vision, Pasta Mike, some of those other people. They know of me and about me, for sure. Um, but at the same time, I'm not invited in those huge spaces or whatever. Like even
Mhm.
Seth Andrews, he knows I'm from Oklahoma as well. He's from Tulsa. I'm an Oklahoman myself, but I do believe because of my thing is I talk mainly about race and not religion,
Race.
so they ain't gonna throw me on there because they know how I get down. But I'm just being honest. So, but let's be real. So they know of me and they keep but and some of the followers from there, but they, yeah, but so they found, okay, and it's not too many because you can go and relate to, okay, how many videos she has. Which you do have a lot of videos, about 400 videos. You post as many videos as I post memes and stuff on Facebook. They think I'm crazy posting all these memes and stuff. You know what I mean? But that's a marketing thing too. Yeah, now y'all hear it.
True, true, true.
Because you get a lot of people when they hear that goofy shit. these memes and stuff. When you talk about something serious, it ain't so quick. But when you start to get them in there with that goofy stuff, and then you start to hit them with drop them with some dimes and some gems, some knowledge, then you're like, and you say something controversial, and they're sitting there like, I don't like what he said, but I like him, and so they'll stick there. Let's be real now. But anyway, do you feel the sense that, because I don't want nobody to be out there using you to be the mouth to this, but then at the same time, I think you get what I'm saying. Do you believe that some critiques are like, hey, they got you up there, they just like pulled you out because your subscribership or your viewership is lower than what you should have. Just like I get critique too, many, and I can tell my own. Some people, oh, I got some big names, but I don't, my viewership isn't so high or whatever. One, I didn't market that much. Two, if they listen to my videos, I said I never thought I was going to get certain interviews, but I can go on my critiques. So I don't want you to think I'm just attacking you at all. I just got to be honest.
I understand.
The real Nordic Black, for no reason. That's my moniker. But about you being propped up. She's speaking against Black folks. For the racists. Now, I'm not saying that some of these groups you're with are racist or whatever, but I'm saying for the racists or some people, white supremacists, low key, like, hey, look, we got her up there. Yes, let's get damn. Okay, damn, there's not too many on the internet. That's why ours is like a niche that's haven't been filled yet. We got that, and so it's like, oh, not too many people speaking about religion that are Black and going against Africans so hard and outspoken like she is. She's going live and just raw and uncut. We need that. So let's pull her up a bit. Let's start talking about her in the chat. Let's start inviting her to these corners. Let's you know what I mean? Start having regular, and I never and I never seen no white man atheist going so hard defending you and going in with you and laughing with you and all that. And I'm like, okay. But it's one of those things where I'm like, I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm like, now let's see if you spoke of, and if you said an African joke or something, let's see how hard they be laughing then, and I have to really look on there. But sometimes it seems like are they using propping you up? I know it's a long go around and be a question, but what's your thought on this subject right here?
So first things first.
And they gonna kill me for over talking you in this
No,
interview.
it's okay. It's okay.
And I know that,
listen,
but I don't give a damn.
I understand where you're coming from. First things first. I'm on YouTube because I deconverted. First things first.
Yeah.
And I'm on here as myself.
Absolutely.
Promoting myself. Now, as part of the journey of being on YouTube and being outspoken, you'll meet different people, right? And you will engage with different people.
Absolutely.
I have not got any agendas. I haven't got any nothing set. All my goal is to go after religion, Christianity,
and
Christianity in particular.
And to be fair, I don't think that some critics believe that your agenda is. I believe that they think that it's genuine. Like I think you're authentic and genuine, but maybe you don't. It's the people that may. Okay, soon you're popping up. You don't know what's kind of going on, like because sometimes when they use Black people or whatever, you don't even know what's going on until it's done or whatever.
True,
and they they used me to go against it, and my whole intention was to do this and that, but yet they they're only clipping videos of you talking about Africans or whatever, but nothing else, or something like that. I don't how they can use that. So I don't think it's so much so as your intention or you, because you do come out genuine and things like that. It's just
I'm not trying to be the race pop up for people, right? If that's done, then it's unintentional, nothing to do with me, but that wouldn't stop me from speaking. It would not stop me having a voice. And if I notice that someone's trying to use me as that, I will push back. I will say, no, just I will pull away. Right. I get it. some spaces need representation of the black and ethnic minority groups. Some
Absolutely.
like the 80s in UK, it's predominantly white men.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Predominantly
No
white
doubt.
men. So
In the US too. Yeah. Yeah.
Africans, they're not keen. They would just look at that and think, okay, you can't relate. But
Right.
when you have a black lady on the panel speaking as well,
Mm,
um, that sort of resonates with a different audience, you know.
absolutely.
And some of these things you can't 100% get it right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You can't
Yeah.
100%. There's some spaces you just don't feel welcome in. You
Right.
think, no, this isn't for me, and you just pull away.
Right.
I'm
Right.
not afraid to pull away.
Right.
I'm
And
not
to
on
be
here
honest, it's
to.
a good point that you make because it's with me too. Sometimes I say certain things. It's not like I was media trained or anything like that.
No,
I didn't go to school to be a journalist or nothing like that. So this is like I said, I'm just a guy that rolled out of bed, started opinionated or whatever. And like you said, you just deconverted and started getting your opinions out there about things and so yeah. I agree with you that we don't get it. You're not gonna get it perfect
no,
every single time.
no,
And
you
yeah,
can't
yeah.
get it 100% perfect, but you
Right,
can try. You can try and just see where you go, and just expect that there will be criticisms, and
right.
you've got to just handle them as they come.
Right. Now our interview is coming to an end, so we're going some last 5 minute things, I guess. So is there anything that you could talk about that you working on that we don't know, or that you can talk about that we don't know,
Um,
or
with my stuff
yeah,
I haven't got any set. Uh,
just like
my
me.
my 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 plan is to bring a whole lot more people on who've left religion
Right,
to hear their deconversion stories, and not just from Christianity but from Islam and other belief systems.
right,
um Going forward, just seeing how religion impacts on people negatively and helping people on the journey of just questioning, doubting, and making their way out of religion. Just seeing that if I can do it, you can do it.
absolutely,
And
absolutely.
a really big thing for me is what they call church hurt.
Mm,
The pain of church and people's experiences, painful experiences, and just being a voice. There's a thing called religious trauma.
right, absolutely. Yeah, I have some of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Making that a mainstream part of therapy, counseling, you know, making the counselors understand that some people have trauma as a result of just being a part of religion or cults, those
Right,
sorts of things. Just helping people through that process. That's big for me.
right. No, that sounds good. That sounds good. And I hope then I will continue to watch your channel. And I advise other people to watch her channel, subscribe to her channel. I'm gonna drop the link of her YouTube channel underneath this YouTube channel, and subscribe to my channel
Oh yes,
if you haven't
absolutely.
yet.
And
Yeah,
I would get you on to come and speak about,
absolutely.
your
In my opinion,
your
yeah.
yeah, living religion, and how
I
you.
think you need some of my fire brand.
I do, I do,
A
I
little bit.
do, I
Yeah,
do. Because
yeah.
with what you do, the race thing, we people try to bury it under the carpet and not speak
Mm,
about it. But
unfortunately, yeah.
you the it will, however much you bury this,
Mm,
it will still come out at
right,
some point.
right,
We can only bury for so long. And
right.
so I appreciate what you do.
No, I appreciate it too. And it's a good point that you made because even Joshua Bowen He made his little book on slavery in the Bible. So it gives
Oh
him a lot of
yes.
gotta give him a lot of material. So if you know if black people were so irrelevant, why the hell he want you know? I'm not no shots, but this is the way I talk. It's nothing but love, tough love. How in the hell he's coming up with when he first started, with the before the atheist handbook,
Oh
he
yes.
got that start with that slavery in the Bible, and everybody showed me these slavery, connecting with today's modern society, and everybody's talking about slavery and all these
Mm-hmm,
things like
mm-hmm.
that. So, like I said, we're something we're a force to be reckoned with. They see the authenticness within us. These days is over back in the past, so they know who they're dealing with. So they I believe that they see people like me and you, and they and I yeah, like I said, when I saw you, I was like, I got to get to this one real quick. I got to get to her. I was like, I saw another black face, and trust me, I was happy and proud to see another black face in there, and I want to get you before you start to, get up there in your head, be like, you can't look down, crab, crabs in the barrel. I'm messing with you, sis. It's in love. It's in love. Uh, um,
It's
but if
only
I ever
it's
go to
only
UK,
it's only YouTube. It's only YouTube. It's
no
only
doubt.
videos.
No doubt. Hey, it be touching people though. I got,
Well, that's the goal.
I
But
don't know.
then
It make people feel, yeah, they feel type of way just from YouTube videos. Sometimes it can make an impact. We can make an impact. We're making an
true,
impact.
true,
We got
true,
this international link up
true.
connection. But anytime if I do go to UK, which I've never been to, no, I've been to London when I was going back to my mom's funeral, but just the airport, London. But I
Mm-mm.
never been to UK. If I ever go to UK, definitely
Yeah,
we'll
hit
link.
me up.
I had to
Yes,
hit you up. You know
yes,
what I mean? And
yes.
same way, Norway or whatever. And I would love to be a part of.
Oh, yes.
I would love to be a part of whatever guest table talk or whatever that you usually do
Oh,
when you have different
yes,
people.
yes.
Just hit me
I
up
will, I
for the
will, I
invite, and
will
I'll come
reach out
through
to you.
immediately at any time.
I'll reach out to you.
I'm an
Absolutely.
insomniac. I be working all the time. So, in the same thing, if something comes
Great.
up that's relevant for you. But anyway, thank you very much. I hope the people will like this. I know I talked a shitload, a lot. Uh, I'm working on that. Not, but I wanted to get these points. I kept on looking at the time, ticket, and I just wanted to get certain questions and or whatnot out there. And at the same time, um, I know you from YouTube, so it wasn't like, other things I can kind of reference and find out. So I can kind of, yeah. So I had to use what I had to kind of get to know you or whatever, you know. But yeah, but thanks for that, and
You're welcome.
yeah, and hopefully we will have a discussion of some sort in the future soon.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And you have a great day, all right?
And you
And
too.
and
Thank you.
everybody stay woke.
Stay woke.
Stay woke. And don't forget to subscribe. And I will
Yes.
drop her links underneath, and you gotta go to her channel, subscribe too.
Thank you.